Even the biggest ice-class cargo ships call this place the washing machine of the planet. Waves as high as a 5-story building, winds that never stop, and a graveyard of shipwrecks stretching back 400 years. Welcome to the Drake Passage. The Drake Passage is an 800-kilometer stretch of open ocean between Cape Horn in South America and the Antarctic Peninsula. It funnels the only unbroken current on Earth, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, moving 180 million cubic meters of water every single second. Sailors nicknamed it the Screaming 60s. No islands, no shelter, just raw sea. Travel back 40 million years. When Antarctica finally split from South America, a deep channel opened. Cold, dense Antarctic waters suddenly had a racetrack around the planet. That clash, polar freeze versus subtropical warmth, created a permanent storm factory. Meteorologists say a new low-pressure system spins across the passage roughly every 3 days. Why is it so deadly? First, there are no land barriers, so wind can circle the globe unchecked, gaining speed all the way. Second, the current slams into an undersea ridge where the seabed rises from 5,000 meters to 500. Water piles up and the waves turn vertical. Third, rogue waves up to 40 meters have been recorded, moving walls of water powerful enough to fold steel. And fourth, magnetic quirks near Cape Horn once confused compasses. Even GPS can drop out in polar storms. Modern captains may plan their crossings like military operations, but nature still deals the cards. History backs that up. In 1741, the HMS Wager, part of a British squadron chasing Spanish treasure, smashed onto rocks during a gale. Only 29 of her 250 crew made it home. Their ordeal of mutiny, starvation, and cannibalism haunted naval strategy for generations. Just 3 years later came another victim, the Spanish flagship San Telmo. She vanished with 600 souls aboard, believed to have slammed into the ice cliffs of Livingston Island. Wreckage and cannons still wash ashore, a grim reminder that even square-rigged giants were no match for the passage. In 1832, the American sealing schooner Friendship ran before a howling westerly, her decks swept clean by green water. The survivors wrote of seas that came like moving mountains, black against a darker sky. Their logbooks became textbook examples of the passage's fury. The Victorian era brought steam, yet disasters continued. In 1898, the Belgian research vessel Belgica became the first expedition ever to overwinter inside the Antarctic Circle when pack ice sealed her in. 13 months of darkness, scurvy, and polar madness followed. Crew diaries describe men chasing imaginary birds across the deck and carving grotesque faces into the bulwarks just to break the monotony. When the sun finally returned, the Drake greeted them with rolling combers that nearly snapped the rudder. The data they collected on magnetism and weather laid the groundwork for modern polar science. Fast forward to 1915, Sir Ernest Shackleton's ship Endurance was crushed by pack ice. The crew camped on drifting floes, then rowed lifeboats 6 days through freezing surf to Elephant Island. After 17 months, every man survived, an epic lesson in leadership under impossible odds. The 20th century brought diesel engines and radar, yet the passage kept its teeth. In 1972, the Argentine Navy tug ARA Guarani capsized in hurricane-force winds. In 2000, the bulk carrier Leader L lost her rudder. A single SOS crackled through gale static before she disappeared. In 2007, the cruise ship MS Explorer struck ice and sank in 20 minutes. Passengers filmed the orange glow of flares reflected on rolling bergs as they huddled in lifeboats. Today, an estimated 35,000 vessels still round Cape Horn each year. Container giants, research ships, even luxury liners. Satellite altimeters show the passage records 20-meter waves at least 5 times every winter. In 2022, the expedition ship National Geographic Endurance was slammed by a 9-meter rogue wave. Windows shattered, passengers were injured. Ice-reinforced hulls help, but timing is everything. A weather window may stay open only 6 hours. Bright yellow Argo floats now. Ride the circumpolar current through the passage, diving 1,000 meters to record temperature and salinity before surfacing to beam data skyward. More than 2,000 of these silent sentries patrol the Southern Ocean, feeding supercomputers that predict hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico and monsoons in India. Without the Drake's flow, weather models would stumble in the dark. Tourism boomed in the last decade. Before the pandemic, 65,000 people each season paid to cross the Drake for a selfie with Adelie penguins. Cruise directors warn newcomers with a rhyme. 2 days in the Drake. If you're lucky, it's a lake. If you're not, it's a shake. Barf bags line the rails and green apples vanish from buffet tables faster than champagne. Shipping conglomerates have their own calculations. The Panama Canal is length restricted and the Suez increasingly volatile. Ultra-large bulk carriers hauling Australian iron ore sometimes choose the Drake because rounding the Horn can shave 5 days off the voyage to Europe. In a market that moves by the minute, 5 days can mean millions. Solo sailors chase their own records. In 2017, Australian skipper Lisa Blair lost her mast south of the passage, jury-rigged a 4-meter stump, and still became the fastest woman to circle Antarctica. Asked later what frightened her most, she said, "A rogue wave in the dark, wondering which way is up." Scientists brave the Drake to measure carbon sinks. Tourists cross for penguins and blue-eyed shags. Navies transit because it is the fastest link between the Atlantic and the Pacific. Everyone gambles on a forecast that can flip in minutes. Locals even joke about the Drake Lake versus Drake Shake. Glass calm one day, a monster brew the next. Numbers tell part of the story. The circumpolar current alone carries more water than all other ocean currents combined, redistributing heat and nutrients around the globe. Each winter, an estimated 50 trillion krill hatch here, forming the base of a food chain that feeds leopard seals, wandering albatross, and the largest animals on Earth, the blue whales. When the krill bloom falters, the Southern Ocean goes quiet. In 1979, the roll-off freighter MV München left Bremerhaven loaded with machinery and Volkswagen parts. Somewhere southwest of Ireland, she sent one final word, FREAK, before vanishing from radar. Weeks later, a single lifeboat was recovered, 11mm steel torn open, like a sardine tin. Investigators backtracked the storm cell and realized the pressure system had spun straight out of the Drake Passage, carrying a rogue wave estimated at over 30 meters. The case rewrote naval architecture. Bow doors, hatch combings, and bridge windows on every new ro-ro ship were beefed up to survive an impact no textbook had previously considered. Rogue wave science took off. In 2000, the Antarctic research vessel Icebreaker Polarstern deployed laser wave radars while crossing the passage. At 2:14 on a moonless night, the sensors logged a single crest 41 meters high, roughly a 14-story building. Nobody on deck saw it. The wall of water passed beneath the keel and marched on into darkness. Data from that crossing proved rogue waves were not legends, but physics, a perfect cocktail of current, wind, and seabed topography that stacks energy into a single monster. Sailors adapt with culture as well as steel. Rounding Cape Horn from west to east, the hard way, earns you the right to wear a golden earring and put your feet on the dinner table in any port mess on Earth. Old-timers speak of albatross pilots. The giant birds glide just centimeters above the wave troughs, and if you keep your bow aligned with their wings, you'll steer the safest course through the chaos. The passage has even become a racetrack. During the Vendée Globe solo round-the-world race, Skippers surfed down 70-knot gusts with bare poles, clocking speeds that would shame a powerboat. In 2021, French sailor Clarisse Cremer, battling 90-knot blasts, recorded herself singing to keep panic at bay while icebergs the size of apartment blocks ghosted past her bow radar. Tour operators exploit the legend. On calm crossings, the crew stages a ceremony called the Order of the Albatross. First-timers kiss a plastic albatross beak, down a shot of polar vodka, and earn a certificate proclaiming them Drake survivors. On rough crossings, the beak stays in its box, and even hardened deckhands skip dinner. Wave by wave, wreck by wreck, legend by legend, the Drake Passage reminds humanity that the planet still has rooms we can enter only on nature's terms. Strategists notice, too, in wartime, whoever controls Cape Horn controls nearly a third of global bulk shipping. In 1942, German raiders stalked Allied freighters south of the passage. During the Falklands conflict, British submarines slipped through under radio silence, using the rough weather as camouflage. Today, satellite AIS maps show a neon spaghetti of tankers hugging the 60-degree south line. Every roll of the hull worth millions if a hatch fails. Climate scientists call the region Earth's pressure valve. Every ton of carbon the ocean absorbs drifts through the Drake, chilled and swept northward into deeper currents that may store it for centuries. If warming trends slow that conveyor belt, weather patterns across the planet will feel it. Oceanographers have already detected freshwater lenses from melting Antarctic ice, altering salinity, and changing the way storms spin up over the passage. Still, the Drake keeps its sense of theater. Mariners speak of phantom peals, distant thunder that turns out to be bergs capsizing. Satellites capture spiral cloud decks that could swallow a continent. On rare days, the sea lies so smooth that veteran captains step outside, cameras in hand, to capture proof that Drake Lake is real. So next time you spin a globe, find that lonely gap below South America. Remember the Wager, the San Telmo, the Belgica, the Endurance, and the captains who still whisper, "Pray for 6 calm hours." Subscribe to Dark Sea Mysteries and join us each week for another true story from the world's most dangerous waters. Thanks for watching.